Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about how to solve the problem of what if science changes and we're making the claim that, look, the Quran is a scientific miracle because it agrees with modern science. And I'll explain who this funny little man is on the screen here that you're looking at. He's part of the solution here. So basically, look, there's some people who have went around claiming that do not use Quran in modern science arguments because what if science changes? You are saying that the Quran is referring to the scientific fact, and what if that scientific fact changes? We realize that it's no longer true anymore. It could happen. Therefore, you're going to say the Quran is in error. You have to now agree with that. It's a very simple solution to the problem. So let's get started. You'll be surprised how easy it is. So yeah, if the problem is actually created by the person who claims that this verse agrees with this specific verse, or I'm sorry, let's start again. This verse of the Quran agrees with this scientific fact. Therefore, it means the only meaning is that. If you phrase it like that, yeah, you're putting yourself into that kind of problem. But we never phrase it like this. We never say that the verse of the Quran means this scientific fact. No, you do that, you're creating problems for yourself. Rather, the case for the Quran in modern science is as follows. Look, there are verses in the Quran which agree with modern science. However, those verses have multiple interpretations, and we should give those interpretations. I'll give you an example. Let me show you something really quick, and we'll do a scenario. What if science changes here, okay? And show you how it doesn't cause any problems for us. Look, there is a verse in the Quran which clearly agrees with modern science. Chapter 55, verse 20 states that there are barriers in the sea. We go and again, just hit pause on my notes so you can get all the references. This is actually what science confirms. That there are barriers in the sea. It's called a picnic line, a complete agreement with modern science, word for word agreement with modern science as we see here. Now, I am not saying that the intent of this verse is, or you could say that the meaning of this verse is specifically referring to the picnic line. No, rather what I'm saying is, well, we should say, look, this verse can have many different interpretations. For example, maybe barriers here is referring to islands. So it's really is referring to islands, and we can go off and show the different type of interpretation. However, one of the various interpretations does agree with science, and that's unusual. That's a phenomenon. Now let's say science changes. Okay. Well, actually, hold on. Before we go there, let me finish my train of thought here. Okay. So yeah, so that's unusual. That's a phenomenon, and this is an anomaly in the data which we're noticing now. Just because we notice that there is an agreement with science, one of the many interpretations agree with science, that doesn't automatically make the Quran a scientific miracle. Rather, we call the cops. That's what this funny man here is for. If you see an agreement with science, you don't automatically jump and say that this is a scientific miracle. Rather, we say, listen, there's many possibilities. There's many reasons which explain what we're seeing. Could be a coincidence, purely accidental discovery, a stroke of luck, a poetic, maybe the guy was being poetic, some kind of metaphorical expression, accidentally agreeing with science, not the intent of the author. Maybe this is hyperbole, an exaggerated statement or claim which was not meant to be taken literally, but it just happened to agree with science. Maybe it's something obvious, like the sky is blue, and so it's quite easy to conclude. Maybe the author plagiarized, borrowed from an existing source, which was not widely known. Maybe, and then finally, the S stands for scientist. Maybe the author of the Quran was a great scientist, and that's how he got this knowledge. So we're not claiming it is a scientific miracle yet. What we are claiming, though, this anomaly in the data, which is one of the many valid interpretations, agreeing with science, occurs again and again and again and again. The first or second time, or maybe even the third time, cops can explain it. But if it occurs over and over and over again, cops cannot explain it. Okay. And then we're going to talk about what if science changes and how to handle that. I'll get to that. So the problem here is the frequency. It is a frequency of this unusual phenomenon, a valid interpretation which agrees with, well, what in the world? I can't read that. There you go. A valid interpretation which agrees with science occurring again and again and again, which makes the Quran a scientific miracle, which is different from saying that the Quran, that the true meaning of the Quran agrees with science. It is the frequency of this individual phenomenon occurring over and over again. Now, let's say science changes, okay? We realize that the picnic line no longer exists. It was all a mistake. Okay, fine. Our response is simply this. The anomaly in the data no longer exists. What we are observing no longer exists. No action required on your part. Again, the verse could have several different meanings. Maybe it was referring to barrier. Maybe it was referring to something else. There, problem solved. There is no problem of induction. There is no dilemma that if science changes, it's going to destroy Quran and science. There is no such thing. There, it's finished. Okay? There have been certain individuals, and I won't mention their names, and I have spoken to them personally. If you know, you probably know who I'm talking about, and I have laid this out for him. I've told him, there is no problem of induction. There is no dilemma if science changes, and he was cool with it. There was no response. There was no refutation. There was no, Nadir, you're wrong. There was nothing, none of that. He was cool. All right. So if he's in agreement, and the person who started this false dilemma, if he's in agreement and we're all in agreement, then we can move forward with proving that the Quran is a scientific miracle. Now let's talk stupid for a second here, okay? True, science could change, but let's be real here. Let's go back to this example here. All right. See this? This is a picnic line. Now, what you need to understand, this scientific fact that you're looking at, take a look around the world, show from scientists or whoever, what, do you see anybody who's so scared that, oh my God, this science is going to change? Oh, I don't know. No, this picnic line is going to be here today. It's going to be there tomorrow. The picnic line is going to be there from 1,000 years from today. This is not going away. This science is not going to change. Again, there is a remote possibility it could, no doubt. If it did, again, we are not saying that this verse of the Quran means this scientific fact only. No, there's many interpretations to the verse. So if the science changes, okay, well, the anomaly in the data no longer exists. It could mean something else then. See, no problem. Let's continue with this. Now I'm going to tell you something. It is only a fool who is going to sit here and worry himself about the picnic line changing, because there's certain certain science which is solid, rooted in fact. You don't have to worry about it changing. And of course, there's scientific facts which could change. I'll give you an example. The creation of life on Earth. There's science about that, but it's just, but that of course could change. So you have to use some intelligence here. Sure, we're not going to base our Quran and science arguments on things which have not been properly tested, which are theories like the Big Bang, and other than that, yeah, because there's a probability of that stuff changing. It just causes more confusion. But even if it did change, it's okay, because now I've shown you how to handle those changes. All right. So let's continue here. I'm going to show you some more stuff here. Okay, now look at this. The Quran says it is associated at the bottom of the ocean, there is no light in this particular verse. Exact agreement with science. Below 1,000 meters from this particular article, it's talking about below 1,000 meters receiving no light from the surface. This is a complete agreement between the Quran and science. Science is confirming there's no light at the bottom of seas. Now, here's what I want you to understand. This science is not going away. Look around the world and show me those people who are scared. I don't know, maybe a light bulb will appear at the bottom of the ocean. It's not. It's going to be true today. It is going to be true tomorrow. It's going to be true 1,000 years from today. You are a fool to sit here and worry about all these scientific facts changing. It will not. And if you look at the scientific community, nobody's worried except those people who have been misguided by this particular individual are the only people in the world, seriously, who's worried about this science changing. All right. So now that you have properly understood it, now you can, inside the description of this video, you are going to see a debate take place on the scientific miracles of the Qur'an. A debate which, according to that one particular individual, could never have happened, should never have happened, because this is all just hopelessly broken Quran and science. No, it's not. Alhamdulillah, the Quran and science is actually one of the best arguments if you understand how to use it safely. Okay, and that's what my YouTube channel is for. I understand all these alleged refutations to Quran science, and to be very honest with you, they're laughable. What it is a display of ignorance of the particular person who doesn't understand what he's talking about. And I've talked to him. He's cool with everything I've said. You know, it's not like he had anything of value in terms of refutation. He said, I'm in 80% agreement with you. All right. I don't want to mention any names, it doesn't matter. You know, so okay, so go ahead, and now that you understand how this stuff works, definitely go and click on the link in the description so you can watch this really very entertaining, interesting debate on the Quran and modern science. Thanks.